I'm Maddie.
I'm Amber. And we're Witches Talking Tarot.
We are the weirdos in this story.
Like a song, like a sailor snubble. Flip the switch and let the cauldron bubble. Sam.
Wow. Hey everybody, I'm Amber.
And I'm Maddie.
And we're
Witches Talking Tarot.
And today we are going to sit back, take some deep breaths, exhale through the mouth, inhale through the nose, relax, and let's talk meditation.
444.
Thank you, universe. You gave me something good. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about meditation because I think most people think of one specific thing when they think about meditation. And I think about, when I think about meditation, I think about two things. I think about what I do, and then I think about guided meditation, which I think is what most people think about when they think of meditation. What do you think of when you think of meditation? Is it like, do you only think about the kinds that you do? Do you think about the broad spectrum of what can be meditation? Or like what?
So for me, I guess it would be more what I do. When I think of
Yeah.
meditation, I think of those minutes before bed when I'm about to fall asleep.
Okay. So what do you think about going through the 10 kinds of meditation just one at a time?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
And you have your list, right?
I have the list ready.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. So the first kind of meditation, which makes sense in the list that came up when I was looking at like, what kind of meditation is there? Because you know what? I know what I do, and I know what I think that everybody thinks when they think of meditation, but I don't know what meditation is outside of those pre-concepts that I have, right? So I found out, like, basically this seemed to be the most comprehensive list. However, life is broad, and maybe life is broader than this list. So if you know other kinds of meditation and you are on any kind of platform that allows you to leave us comments, please feel free to name anything that this list may not encompass or anything that our discussion may not encompass. So the first thing is mindfulness meditation, which I think is what a lot of people think of if they don't think of guided meditation. And mindfulness meditation is that, you're clearing the mind, you're trying to get in tune with either within or without so that you can receive messages.
I think you're right. And I gotta say, I think when people hear this mindfulness meditation, they get really intimidated because a lot of people are like, "Man, I got fucking ADHD. I cannot just turn that shit off."
It's funny because to me, I think a lot of people, or at least the people who scoff at this kind of stuff, hear mindfulness meditation and they're like, ugh, that's so cliche or something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure what the right words are, but you get the vibe.
I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think that this is definitely one of those meditations that's like pretty much like hated on or scoffed at for a number of reasons.
The thing that you said though about the intimidation, that's it for me, because like my head is rarely empty of thoughts. Like,
literally,
if I am trying to empty my head of thoughts, what's going to happen is, because I've tried, I'm like, I'll wind up sitting there and being like, okay, stop thinking. No, stop thinking. No, that's a thought. No,
I know
that is a thought.
Or like, I think I'm doing really good at it, but really in my head, I'm like, you're meant to. Yeah, exactly. Like, and I'm like, that's not thinking. I'm singing.
But that can be a message, and that is, I think, the first thing I would like to say about this part of mindfulness meditation, because like you said, everybody thinks a certain thing about it, but the whole point is you're trying to clear your mind. So you clear your mind of these random thoughts that are racing through your head like speeding trains. And then the ones that come back to you, well, that's, if you love something, set it free, let the butterfly go. And if it comes back to you, it was meant to be. So that thought that comes back to you, whether it's a song lyric or a thought, as long as the thought is you're not supposed to be thinking anything, because that one, probably doesn't have a special message from the universe. But like that could be where the message lies, like if we pay attention. What do you think about that, what I just said?
I totally get you, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I'm also like, it's kind of like when I'm sitting or when I was sitting in church and the pastor's just droning on and on and on. And then somehow I'm in this erotic fantasy of mine. And I'm like, why am I thinking about this in church? To me, it's like the same thing because I'm like
Well,
zoning the fuck out. And I'm
and I mean, like, and we talked it like, because does daydreaming count as meditation? I
Right,
think some people
exactly.
would say it does. To me, it feels like more active of a thing
uh-huh.
than meditation, but maybe
Right.
that's just my misconception.
I
don't
don't know.
know.
I don't know.
I
I think
don't
they go
either.
hand in hand because I don't know. Because like while you're sitting there daydreaming, I don't want to say daydreaming because when I think daydreaming, I'm thinking like in school you're just staring off into space,
Mhm.
but you're an active mind. But your body is also so relaxed and you're not there in that moment. So I don't know.
To me, like you say, active mind,
Active
because I'm
mind, yes.
actively like, even though I'm not present in this moment, I am present in my thought
Right.
processes.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe there is a form of meditation there, but I don't know that it's this mindfulness
not like a
meditation.
spiritual mindfulness
Right, because
meditation.
like I'm pretty sure like mindfulness meditation, to my understanding, and if I am wrong and you're a practitioner, please tell me. I do not have a problem with being corrected, but this is my understanding of it, is you're supposed to be able to clear your mind enough to, I think, connect with both what's in your body and with what's out.
Mhm.
Or did they say in the mindfulness meditation, it's you're letting go of your body? No, you're paying attention to your present moment experiences, both within and without. Okay, so that one is mindfulness. Okay, I wasn't sure if I was getting it mixed up with another one, because one of them is like you're trying to disconnect from all your internal organs and your feelings to experience what's out there. And to me, that's like astral projection, or at least the baby steps, you know. And maybe that's the whole point of that. I mean, it probably is, actually. I don't know. What do you have, like, what are your thoughts on the mindfulness meditation? Like, do you do that where you try to clear your head and just kind of pay attention to without and within, like without like having the, I've got to do this for dinner and I've got to do laundry and I've got to do
I
this.
try, but again, as a mom with like toddlers, it is so hard. It is very hard. If I feel like I would do it more if I had time to myself.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
and to me, like when I meditate with toddlers, it's usually before I go to bed, before I fall asleep, as I'm laying in bed. I could do it then, but that's just not the type of meditation that I usually practice. you
Yeah,
know?
me either. Cause like I just have like thoughts racing through my head all the time.
Mhm.
Now, the next one that's listed on the list is transcendental meditation, which is connecting with a teacher who gives you a mantra, a word you'll repeat over and over to concentrate your mind and go beyond or transcend your surface level of awareness. The goal is to unlock joy, creativity, and calmness.
Now, I think I have done that, but less in like meditation and more in casting. So, for example, or manifesting. So, I don't know if that'd be a form of meditation. I'll be sitting there and I'll be talking like peace and love and light and happiness and joy. And I'll just repeat those same things over and over again to draw that energy into. Would you say that's a form of that type of meditation?
I'm not sure, because for me, when I read that, to me, it's one of my coping mechanisms to not have a panic attack or an anxiety attack. Like, I repeat to myself over and over 3 times, everything is good, everything's fine, everything's wonderful.
Right.
Wonderful things are happening. Good things are happening. Good things are happening to me. Wonderful things are happening.
But is that manifestation?
And then I do it 3 times.
Okay. Yeah.
And it calms me down from whatever I'm about to freak out about. Like, because I'm just like, because I do think of it as manifestation. That's how I calm myself down, is I am speaking my intentions into the world. Everything is good. Everything is fine. Everything is wonderful. God damn it. Believe it, girl.
No,
And
I
that's why
get you,
do
but
it in
I always do it in
Well, I do
threes
it
as
when I'm
well.
driving a lot, so I'm never with my eyes
Yeah, you're
closed.
never just sitting there
No.
meditating. Like for me, I will do that if I'm lighting a candle, lighting an incense, or, sitting there and cleansing my space,
Yeah.
would you say that's a form of that type of meditation?
In that regard, I really do think it's a form of meditation. When
Okay.
I'm stopping myself from hyperventilating,
Mhm.
I don't know if that counts as a form of meditation. I mean, I'm stopping myself from hyperventilating.
Right, you're obviously
so-
calming down.
Right, but I'm starting from a level so high up instead of like calming down.
You're just
I
going normal.
going normal,
Yes.
right? So maybe it does count. I don't know, because like that is mostly how I do that kind of
Mhm.
thing, and it's not something that anybody gave me.
Right.
It was one day I was like about to freak out, and I was just like, "Girl, fucking chill." And so I was like, "No, tell yourself these things." And so I did.
Mhm.
And then I did it 3 times in a row because 3 is a magic number. And so like I do the first part 3 times in a row all by itself, is that everything is good, everything is fine, and everything is wonderful. I say that 3 times as a whole. And then I say that before I say each one of the next one, and I do that 3 times.
Mhm.
And then I'm usually like, okay, it's cool.
Mhm.
Everything is cool. I'm cool. You're cool. We're all cool.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I totally hear you.
So maybe it does count as meditation. I don't know. I've never worked with a teacher
Well, I feel like
on any kind of meditation.
people hear mantra and they automatically think it's something like om to open up the house. That's not necessarily what that means.
Right. Absolutely not always. Because like in manifestation, I have a prosperity mantra that I like to say whenever I'm like, I need a little help today. So the third one is cultivation practices. They are derived from basically getting yourself into a comfortable place and giving yourself positive affirmations.
Sorry, I'm just trying to
or
get comfortable.
doing positive affirmations about something else. Sorry, you're good. I just didn't want to lose my
Oh, I
train of thought.
definitely do that.
Yeah.
I feel like I definitely do that. Well,
Okay, so
typically, I focus on brief and affirming feelings in people. Oh yeah, I do that. I feel like that goes hand in hand with what you and I just said.
yeah, I
I
do
feel
think
like
it goes
I
hand
spit
in
when
hand
I
with that.
talk
Oh
too.
no, you're good. I didn't see anything. I think that's accurate, and at the same time, anytime I start doing like those kinds of positive affirmations, like you are a good person, people like you, I think about Stuart Smalley and the Saturday Night Live movies of his, and very funny. The comedian became a politician at one point. He became like governor of Wisconsin or something back in the day. But on Saturday Night Live, he was Stuart Smalley, and his whole bit was like he was all about positive affirmations for self. And he'd get in the mirror and he'd be like, "You are good enough. You are strong
I
enough."
think if I'm gonna do that, I'm
And-
not gonna sit down and do that. That's something I'll do in the shower. Like
Yeah.
as I'm taking a shower, and I don't know if this is part of my OCD, if this is a normal thing. I have issues where, first of all, I have
Sorry.
issues getting comfortable. I am now 8 months pregnant, and I am so uncomfortable. And yeah. Anyway, I have issues where I'm like in the shower and my thoughts are just racing and they're so negative. And I'll think of fights that I had with somebody in my family member, or, fights that I had with my mother-in-law, or disagreements, not necessarily just always arguments, or, oh, this is so embarrassing. What? I don't know why my mind focuses on that shit. Is that normal? It's almost like when you do something embarrassing and you remember it and it drives you nuts.
Well, I don't know if it's normal, but as I told you in the car about the thing that was bothering me from yesterday, like
Like
obviously
that.
I do
Like
that.
that.
So I don't know if it's normal.
But all the time. And I think it's part of the OCD, which is
I was gonna say I think it's a neurodivergent
Mhm.
behavior.
Yeah.
I always like that's the kind of stuff where ever since the 90s I'd just be like, sorry, I'm a little neurotic.
Well, it's like
Because I am.
I
Yeah.
was diagnosed with OCD, which is obsessive compulsive. So I have the obsessive part, which is where I will obsess over stupid shit, like what you have been talking about. And especially when I'm like doing dishes, or I'm in the shower, when my mind can just so when I'm trying to rid myself of those obsessions, I will do that, which is, no, it's okay. This happened so long ago. You're a good person. let it
Mhm.
go, let it be free. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I
Yeah.
don't let it. I don't have grudges. It's not like grudges. It's weird. It's hard to explain.
No, I
I
get
do
you.
think it's a neurodivergent
yeah,
thing. with
yeah,
my
because
diagnosis.
like when I can't sleep, that'll happen.
Mhm.
When I'm bothered by any situation, that'll happen.
Uh-huh.
But when I can't sleep, like
Mhm.
all of a sudden it's just like a parade of all of the dumb ass shit. And it's like, and
Mhm.
I have to make myself stop thinking about it. I don't necessarily do that though,
Mhm.
but I'm just saying like,
It's become a kind of
100%.
coping mechanism for me, honestly, that form of meditation where
Yeah,
and again
and
it's
that's a good way to put it.
it's
coping
not
mechanism.
really me sitting down and doing it. It's I'm in the shower, so I have time, or I'm doing the dishes. You're just staring blankly as you're
Right,
doing the
yeah.
dishes by hand, and I'll sit there and I'll have these thoughts, and then I'll just be like, no. Just because something happened when you were in middle school doesn't mean you're a bad person. You've grown. You're an adult. You've
Right.
experienced spiritual growth. Just because this
Yes.
person has this opinion doesn't mean they're a bad person, and you're not a bad person for having your own opinion. So, and
Absolutely.
I think I guess I do that almost every day,
Yeah.
you know?
Now, number 4 is guided imagery, which I think is what most
I do like
people
guided
think.
imagery. I don't do it often,
Yeah,
but I
like
do like guided.
on our Patreon, we used to do guided meditations. If you would like to see that come back, join patreon.com/witches talking tarot and tell us that you're interested.
We did mermaid
Nice
one. I
bitch.
love fairy meditations. I used to do them again before I had kids and I had the time. And then I just noticed I didn't need to do the guide. Maybe it's that baby steps. Maybe you
Right.
want to start
Start
with
with
that, and then I noticed I didn't need to have somebody lead the way. I
Yeah.
could create my own visualization.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I've never really gotten too into, I've done guided meditations or even just like guided image meditations on myself. Like, we're walking into a forest in fall and you can feel the cool, crisp air and you can smell the leaves that have fallen and they're wet on the ground.
There's a
and
little squirrel.
everything's
Like-
red and yellow and orange around you.
I do
and,
love them.
it's not my favorite because it turns into daydream. My mind wanders. Now I'm writing a book.
Yeah, I get that.
And I don't have anything to write it down with. So now I've got to try and remember everything I just came up with before. And I have a very active mind, y'all. And then we'll do number 5 and then hear from our sponsors.
Sure,
What do you
yeah,
think
that
since
sounds
it's a
great.
10 list? Number 5 is prayer. It's a great place to stop because I did not think that prayer would show up on a list of meditation, but I absolutely agree that prayer is meditation.
I do
You're
too.
communing with spirit.
I do too.
You are putting your intentions, your wishes, your worries
out
there. You're releasing that to your higher power.
Absolutely. And again, as someone
That's
who
beautiful.
struggles on some form of spectrum, it's also it's very calming.
Yeah.
You
When
know
I
what
need
I
to be calmed down,
Mhm.
I pray to my ancestors. I pray to
Christians
my
pray
goddesses.
to their God all
Yeah.
the time. And I know
Sometimes I pray to Veles and even Dashboga.
Oh yeah, there are times when I've
Which are
I've
gods
spoken
versus
to
goddesses.
Hecate. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the sun god, I think I have prayed to the sun god often.
I have prayed
When I
to
need-
Krishna on so many occasions.
Exactly.
It's not funny.
And I do think that is a form of meditation,
Yes.
especially if you're in a place where, and prayer usually comes in at the time where you're either most vulnerable or at least not speaking for everyone, but when you're most vulnerable, you need to sort of calm down and relax. Oh, please, let's do this. When I pray to the sun god, it's usually me asking for strength. And so I'm in a time in my life or in that day where I feel like, okay, I need strength.
Yeah.
If I feel like I need to calm down or have that like patience, then I'll pray to like the goddess. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
No, I get it because I pray to my ancestors all the time. Like when I was younger and I just was overwhelmed with everything that was going on. And I didn't feel like I had anybody to talk to, I would pray to my grandfather or my uncle after he passed away. And I would like, please give me guidance, help me, like, you know, whatever connection we still have,
Mhm.
please use it to guide me. I pray to my grandmother, Ellen, who has been dead since before I was born. So she was the first one that I prayed to. But because when my grandfather died and when my uncle Steve died, I had a connection with them in life. They were the next one I prayed to. And then I would like, because of the last vampire series, thank you again for giving me those books back. Like not back, like she gave me her copy of Thirst. I got rid of my last vampire books when I was young and Poe and trying to sell my used books for cashish. Regrets. But anyway, because of those books, I was very familiar with Krishna, and I would pray to Krishna a lot as well. And now I, you know, depending on what it is, like I pray to Velas. He's the god of the waters and the underworld, and you know, I will commune with him. More often I commune with Marsana or Mother Mokash. I mean, Mother Mokash I talk to probably daily at this point. And every once in a while, probably 3 to 5 times a week at my altar in my bathroom, I talk to Freya or Marsana.
So I feel like prayer is also just a really good release, and ultimately meditation is a
Yes.
release. So like I have
and it's a
prayed
clearing.
or spoken to you know, I lost one of my best friends recently. That's so hard. She keeps popping up on my memories. We were best friends, like me and you know what I mean? About 6 years ago, 6 and 5 years ago, she keeps popping up on my memories. And she would come over every day after work and smoke weed. And she would come, we worked together. She was my husband's ex-girlfriend. So it hit me and my husband very hard finding out she passed away. But also
did not know.
Oh yes, she was. But it was not weird. It wasn't
I'm
weird.
sorry
There's
to
some
laugh. I didn't
situations
know
where
that.
it's weird, but this was not one of those situations.
Sometimes it's just
It is what it is. Yeah. So like it hit us both really hard. I think it hit me the hardest because I mean they only dated like 3 months, like small thing. Like,
right, yeah.
But like I don't even know how long they dated. Looks this is what he fucking told me, okay? like there, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't long.
Yeah.
He
Soften the blow. It was
definitely-
only 3 months, baby.
He definitely really liked her for a while. And he went over there. Okay. Like we'll just leave it at that. What the fuck ever. Okay. But her and I were best friends for over a year. And the way that we kind of stopped being best friends, it just I didn't realize, because I had talked to her a month before she passed away. We were talking about getting together and her meeting the boys. And she sent me a text message and I never responded. And it wasn't because I wasn't those bitches. I always respond. I always do.
Yeah.
I don't know if I opened it and forgot about it with my kids, or if I opened it, was going to reply in a little bit. And, you know, I don't know. But the last message that she sent me in the last conversation we had was that she wanted to meet my boys and get together and have dinner. And I never responded, and it's really fucked me up, actually, finding out she passed away a month later. So I guess I have prayed or spoken to her, and it hurts in the sense that, like, she was my everything. I messaged her all day, every day. Like I said, like you and I.
Yeah. No,
And I was not there. And I never responded. So this form of meditation, this prayer, I guess I would call it praying to her, talking to her, has really helped in a way with my grief, dealing with that.
I get that. Because when Jonathan passed away, he was coming to me. Like, I know for a fact he wanted something from me. But it took me a while to realize that. So I was just hurting like you are. And I
Mhm.
was talking to him about like, how I thought about him all the time and how like I even told my kids our stories, even though they were not PG or PG-13 stories. But,
Mhm.
I told my kids about him because he was important to me. Like,
Yeah.
we were like ride or die back in the day. He called me his F hag. I fucking hated that. But that's what he called me. Anyway, we did everything together, including running away from home. And when I found out he passed away, the way that I was told was, our mutual friend messaged me on Messenger and she said, I don't know if you know this, but Jonathan died. Last time I talked to him, he was telling me how he really wanted to talk to you. He was just like afraid to reach out, not because I'd be mean to him, but because like our lives were so different at that point, right? Like,
Did you get to go to the funeral?
yeah. I drove
See,
6 hours.
I did.
Yeah, I wouldn't
No
have
one
missed it for the world.
yeah.
I mean, I
I
don't mean that in a like creepy way. I mean
No.
like I loved him and we went through it together.
Well, and that's like with Rachel, it was very upsetting that her family, there was no update that this happened. There was no notice. They didn't reach out to any of her friends. Everything was a private affair.
Well, yeah, no, I get that. And actually, I am just fortunate that
Mm-hmm.
my friend, that was our mutual friend, was getting the information for me.
Mm-hmm.
From like, the newspaper, what the fuck ever,
Mhm.
I don't know. He was pretty deep in AA at the
Mhm.
point that he passed. So I would imagine those people had been notified.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of us were from his past and
They
not.
didn't want to, yeah.
Well, I don't know that they wanted to or not. Like it was very sad. His mom had dementia at that point. She
Mhm.
actually didn't know who he was when he passed away.
Damn, that sucks. So have you talked to him then and prayed with him, or?
Yeah, I communed with him for a very long time until I understood why he was sticking around. Because I mean, he loved me too. Don't get me wrong, like, but he was sticking around for a very specific reason. And I made a TikTok on Halloween to get the message out there. And yeah, he has actually moved on.
Okay.
I do not feel him anymore. And it's actually, I cried for a couple weeks. I'd gotten used to him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because it's that final goodbye, and I'm dealing a lot with grief and guilt that she was there with me when I went through my molar pregnancy.
Right.
She was there and she came over, and I was there with her during her pregnancy loss. She lost a baby at like 12 to 13 weeks. So pretty later, I mean, second trimester miscarriage. And so those are kind of the prayers that I have been doing to not an ancestor, but a past loved one.
Right. And it's very good for the soul. It really is, because that guilt, it be heavy.
It does, yeah.
It does. It does.
So on a happier note, let's hear from our sponsors.
Yep. That's right. Thank you so much for joining the show today. Today's show is brought to you by our sponsors, our very first sponsors, Calm Aura, and they have given us the Calm Aura Tree Devia tarot deck.
It is such a beautiful deck. I mean, didn't you say it's lined in gold?
It is gold lined, and the art, like the box is just the tip of the iceberg with this art.
5 of Cups. I love this artistry. I hope they can see it all right. The artistry is perfect. It fits perfectly in your hands. And
such
to
a good
me,
hand feel.
as a tarot reader, it's all about the feeling that the hands. This
absolutely.
is perfect size. Perfect size. The thickness of the card is also
so good
perfect.
for shuffling. It's like as a tarot reader, you will love these cards.
Yes.
So if you would like to get your hands on one of these gorgeous decks or any of the other wonderful metaphysical offerings at Calm Aura, you can get your very own Tree Devia tarot deck and more at calmaura.com/witches talking tarot. And that is CALMOURA.com/witches talking tarot. If you want to see how to spell our name, you can find out when you go hit that subscribe button after the show.
Well, and I think you forgot the best part.
well, I just
you
haven't
get
gotten there yet.
10% off,
Yes.
right? You get 10% off.
Your whole order. So grab more than just the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thanks for coming to Sit a Spell. So enjoy the rest of this episode. Again, brought to you by the Calm Aura. Calm Aura Tree Devia Tarot Deck. So to get your 10% off your entire order at calmaura.com/witches talking tarot, use code tarot witches 10 when placing your order. All right, now that we are back from that word from our sponsors, thank you, Calm Aura. We are moving on to meditation type number 6, movement meditation. This includes things like yoga, tai chi, walking a labyrinth. So I guess kind of just taking a walk, but it's got to be a specific kind of thing because you're focusing on specific movements
Mhm.
and your breathing. So like just like I guess if you're going on the same walk where you have to like follow a certain pattern, because I think the pattern, that's why they specify a labyrinth, right? Because the pattern is what makes it that mind, that meditation, that movement meditation piece. But check out next episode. We're going to talk all about yoga. So that's fun. Make sure you tune in on Thursday for our talk about yoga. So we're not going to go in depth on any one of these types of meditation per se. And yet we will, because honestly, doing the same walk, like I used to take my dog on the same walk
I went on
route.
the same walk last summer all the time with my
so
kids.
that would,
so that's
that
what
would
I was
count,
wondering.
I think, as labyrinth meditation or a labyrinth walk.
And it
right?
was like a meditation because as you're walking, you're seeing the same views. You're
You're
focusing.
noticing, you're focusing, you're noticing the way that the tree is changing with the season. You're
Yes.
noticing the way
The
the grass
apples
is
are
growing.
blooming.
The apples
Yes,
are blooming.
yes.
Exactly. And that is, that harmony between body and mind that yoga gives.
Mhm.
So I would imagine that falls into that same piece with the movement meditation from the walking on the same route perspective. So I think a walk on the same route would count in the movement meditation based on labyrinth.
Okay,
right?
I would think so.
I would think so, because I think it's that whole piece of like, you're not paying attention to how I get where I'm going.
Mhm.
You already know you're in the labyrinth. You
Right.
know where, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
You're being led in a pattern per
Mhm.
se.
Mhm.
Just like in yoga, you're being led by certain movements for, I want to say, is sannyasa a word
I have no
in-
idea.
in yoga?
I
feel like there's, I don't know, there's a word for like the sun salutation. I don't know, but like, and I'm sure in Tai Chi there's certain routines that, in the same way you do the same movements in the same order, and it gives you that meditative, reflective, empty-headed, because muscle memory takes over,
Right.
after you get used to doing it so
Mhm,
many times. So muscle memory is guiding you, and your mind is able to be free.
Mhm.
Actually really awesome, and yoga is a lot of fun. I don't know, outside of walks and yoga, do you think there's any movement meditation that you've
Maybe
done?
swimming.
Actually, yeah, like in the pool,
a
because you're
lap.
doing laps.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but absolutely
I feel like that's a
Exercising.
meditation for a lot of people.
Yeah, because like for me, when I was like on the
Elliptical.
not the, well, for you maybe the elliptical, I'm you walk or you run,
The treadmill.
treadmill.
Hmm.
I would get like that. My mind would just be empty. And
I miss my
Like,
elliptical. I love the elliptical.
I miss my gym membership.
I
really
do,
did enjoy going. I did. I just stopped having the time.
I stopped having the funds.
Yeah, that's true.
What's the next one? Number 7.
7 is future visualization meditation, where you're visualizing where you're going to be in
Oh,
5
hell
years,
yeah.
10 years, 20 years.
I have absolutely
because
done
this
that.
helps you identify specifically what is important so you know what you should focus on. Because if you're thinking about 5 years down the road,
Mhm.
10 years down the road, 20 years down the road,
Mhm.
whatever that constant is, that's what's important to you in life. So it's
Yes and
less
no.
that, yeah. So it's less that like manifestation visualization, and it's more about identifying what is truly important to you, because those are the themes that are going to stick with all of these future visualizations.
Yes and no. I have trouble thinking about the future, especially like meditating and visualizing it, because as someone who didn't know they'd live this long, I have no fucking clue what the future holds. And
I understand. that
you know
statement too
exactly
well.
what the fuck I mean, because I'm
I
just
thought I'd
like,
be dead by 25. Like,
yeah,
seriously.
no, seriously,
Seriously.
like, and I'm over here like, oh, Christmas. I wasn't, like
Yeah.
I mean, I also, maybe that's an anxiety thing for me, because it's like I feel like if I focus too much on the future or on a set goal, I don't know. That type of meditation makes me uncomfortable, because I feel like so many people, and this goes with my death anxiety that I know I have. So many people have visualizations of the future that they don't get to see. And it really bothers me. So I want
Well,
to go with that flow.
I get you. And so, just not that I care one way or the other, but in the
Right.
defense of the future visualization,
Mhm.
it's more so you can identify what is important to you and what you should focus on in life
Mhm.
than it is of like what you expect yourself, like of yourself in 5 years or 10 years. Like, not that like sometimes when you're applying for a job, they're like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? That's not what this visualization is about. This visualization is about like, in 5 years, I'm going to have whatever kind of job, and I'm going to live in such and such a place with this person and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to have my dog, Roscoe. And in 10 years, I'm going to have moved up to this position with that company, and I'm going to be, either married to with kids, this person, or I'm going to have my dog, Roscoe.
Yeah.
And you find out like Roscoe's the constant, right? So like,
Right.
that's what's really
Okay,
important to you,
okay,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what this visualization is about. That said, I have trouble visualizing the future from 2 different aspects. One, I do not want to set myself up to have an expectation of a thing
Yeah.
that is not going to come to fruition, because ultimately I will feel like I have failed.
Mm-hmm.
There was another one, but I lost it while I was trying to remember that first one. So there are reasons that I don't necessarily do this. I can see the value in it, but I also do other things to know what is important to me.
Right. Exactly.
So
Yes.
like, I see
It's
the
just
value
not
in this
for
kind of
me.
meditation, but
Yeah.
yes, it is not for me for a lot of reasons. Also, I like to live in the moment because it is easier to go with the flow
Mhm.
when you live in the moment than when you have a picture painted in your head of how
Yes.
something is supposed to be.
Mhm.
Because when you have the picture painted of how something's supposed to be and it doesn't go that way, it can cause you internal feelings that are negative, whether it is a feeling of failure because it's not going the way you want, disappointment because people aren't doing what you expect of them, or, some other kind of disruptive feeling from enjoying the moment that is present because you're expecting it to be different.
Mhm.
I missed out on a lot of good things in life because of expectations that existed within me
Mhm.
that I put on things. And they ruined that experience for myself. You know what I mean? So I get where you're coming from, and I
Right.
find no fault. I'm just saying, like, in in the defense of this kind of meditation, it's
Mhm.
really just kind of to help you find what's important to you, like starting your own business. Maybe that is a thing that exists within all of your visualizations. So that's what you should focus on versus, trying to make it up the ladder in this company or some bullshit. That's the point of it. And I don't really do it either. So we have no experience, and we're going to move on to gratitude meditation. And this is really promoting a positive mood, giving yourself hope, and fortifying resilience. It can be as simple as sitting quietly, breathing deeply in and out, thinking of all the people for whom you are grateful.
This is something that I am trying to include more often in my practice. I'm not saying I never do it, because I do, but I feel like, especially where I'm at mentally as well as just physically, gratitude is something that I need to really focus on. I'm always grateful for what I have, but it's so easy, especially in today's age and society,
Yeah.
to want more.
I agree with that. And at the same time, for years, I have been expressing gratitude, building gratitude within myself so that I realize what I am grateful for and what I am blessed with within my life, so as to not be so negative. And that said, one of my things that I say every day more than once is gratitude above all else. So no matter what it is that I'm focusing on, whether it's prosperity, health, happiness, harmony, gratitude above all else, because I am thankful for whatever I do have in these categories or outside of these categories. But actually, it was something I physically had to work on. I had seen through work, I learned that if you do the same behavior 21 days in a row, it will become a habit. So I was like, I'm going to be more grateful. And I decided that every single day I would make 3 Facebook posts about things I was grateful for. And a lot of them happened to be about my husband and things that he did for me, which, at the time, I really didn't give him credit for all the things that he did do for me. I just found fault with the things that he wasn't living up to my expectations on. And as I tried to make myself have an attitude of gratitude, I like that. Put that on a fucking shirt. As I tried to make myself have an attitude of gratitude, right? Like, stop being such a fucking bitch. Be more grateful for what is there. I found that I would always find something about him and what he's done for me to put in my list of things I was grateful for. And it actually improved my marriage like tenfold. Like, I won't lie. Like,
I think
it really did.
gratitude will improve your marriage. It'll improve your life in general.
It did. It truly did. Because instead of being annoyed when my dad told me a stupid story, I would be glad that I have a father who cared to share with me. I would be glad that I had a father who was still around that could share with me.
Right.
I was glad that I had a father who was able to live a life where he had this stupid story to tell me.
Yes, and it is something you have to consciously
do. Like I say, I forced myself. I was like, I'm a fucking hateful bitch. Literally, this was years ago, but it happened. And like, one of my friends actually got really annoyed with me and was like, I had to stop looking at your posts because I was so sick and tired of seeing you say XYZ about your husband. And I was like, well, that's actually really shitty of you that you would say that.
Yeah,
like, truly, I just thought that was
shitty.
shitty.
No, that is
But
absolutely
it's
shitty.
also a great way of changing the way you think. I don't know about it as a meditation thing, but it makes sense to me from meditative perspective. But it literally changed the way I thought. And I was less shitty about situations. Again, like, my dad would be telling me the same thing for like the 10th time. And I could be annoyed that he wouldn't shut up. But instead I was like, man, he's in his 60s. I'm really glad that I got a dad who like is still alive and wants, like, can share these things with me. And instead of being like, God, shut up, I was like, that's cool. That's funny. I'm glad you shared. Anyway, number 9 is forest bathing. Forest bathing, also known as grounding, but like, it's being out in nature in any way. Because they mentioned in this article, they mentioned the garden, they mentioned walking in the forest, they mentioned just being present with nature.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do.
It's an amazing way to meditate. Absolutely.
Is it something I can do every day? Unfortunately, no. But it's something that I try to make time for.
Absolutely. I mean, I
It's
want
so
to get in
important.
my yard every day. I don't. Some days
Some days are hard.
it's real fucking hot.
Yeah, that too. 100%.
And I got a lot of shit going on. So,
Mhm.
like, yes, I need to make the little bit of time.
Mhm.
But I also want to make time for things like yoga, and I want to make time for this, and I want to make
Exactly.
time for that. So it's all about balance. And if you can at least do it sometimes, it's really good
Mhm.
for both your body and your spirit and your mind. It really is. Like forest bathing is very clearing. Like, just sit and listen. It's my
so
favorite.
relaxing.
It is
Yes.
like
it's one of my favorite forms of meditation.
me too. I love listening to the insects make music.
Oh yeah,
And
we were just out at the bottoms the other day. It was amazing. Just being in the water and
Yeah.
listening and watching the life. It's awesome.
it is awesome. Like last night, I was telling Maddie, my husband's a jackass, and he put on that stupid documentary on
Oh my
Netflix
god, that's so
about
dumb.
farts.
Yeah, why did he do that other than to be fucking?
Because he likes that stupid humor. Like that is
I have to
him.
say, my husband hates it. Like, I will
You're
send a
lucky.
video.
I was not kidding when I said you're lucky.
Like, I don't think fart humor is hilarious, but there have been times
I mean,
when I've
it's
seen
funny
a fart.
sometimes.
Like
Yeah.
sometimes when it's not, and I'll show
But a
him, and
whole
he'll be like, "That
documentary?
it makes him cringe." He's like, "Get that shit away from me." It's like me with belching. I don't know if you noticed, my sister did that shit at the party.
Yeah, I
yesterday.
almost laughed, and I was reminded of the fart.
She goes,
from last
"Oh,
night, I was like,
sorry."
"Never mind."
Like she remembered. Like she knows.
did. It
It's
was funny. I was not expecting that. That
me
was
either.
funny.
Well, because I've told her a dozen times.
right?
It's
Yeah, I
like,
know. So
bruh.
she knew. Yeah,
like-
no, that's funny. Like I'm over here, like, how many times have I belched in your presence?
Yeah, but I haven't like with my sister. I'm like, would you get the fuck like
Yeah,
it's different when
with
you're family,
Yeah, no,
right?
I get you. I get you. But like, I went out in my yard last night and I just sat.
Oh, really? That's nice.
It was amazing because the frogs are mating.
Oh, nice.
It was really amazing. The bugs were singing, and the wind was blowing
Cicadas.
through.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know that was cicadas yet. I don't think I heard a cicada. I'm not
Really?
sure. Yeah, but there was a lot of bugs singing. Like
Mhm.
there could have been cicadas. I didn't hear any shrill like screeches. I don't know how many pleasant noises they make, but it was real nice. It was very musical, and the wind was going through the iris leaves, so like they're like making noise
Yeah,
together,
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like this whole harmony going on. And it was wonderful, and it was beautiful, and I truly enjoyed it. And it made me think because like I'm pretty sure it's not on this list, but like music. I meditate with music a lot.
Mhm.
Like I picked you up and I had my Woosah music on. And like it lets me just clear my head. I don't
Mhm.
think about anything. It just I think I have less thoughts on when I have like some instrumental music playing than anything else, honestly. I don't know. I know you're not really into music, but just for anybody who is, like, I definitely find like music, whether it's nature's music or the music made by man with man-made instruments, like very relaxing to the point of allowing me to clear my head enough to meditate. And I don't, when I say the music, like nothing with lyrics. I can't meditate with lyrical music. But the last one before we end our episode is body scan meditation. And that is where you focus on a specific part of the body one at a time. And to me, this I never realized was meditation, but I've been doing it my whole life because this is how my mother taught me to go to bed when I couldn't sleep. She'd have me focus on my toes, and she'd tell me to like focus on my toes and wiggle my toes and then put my toes to sleep and don't move them again. And like they're put to sleep now. And then my feet the same, like flex my feet, feel my feet, and now put my feet to sleep and move on. And then the same with the calves, and just move all the way up my body until I got to my head. And then I would like get to the top of my head and I would put my, and like really like she went through like the fucking chakras
Mhm.
and had me shut my body down, which I don't think she knew that's what she was doing, but it's apparently a way of meditation where you
Oh
go
yeah,
through your
you know,
body and you consciously feel all the things.
I have practiced that meditation. I don't do it often. Now that we've brought it up again and I've been reminded that it's a thing, I may try to do that before I go to bed. That's the perfect time, like you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it is how I like. It's how I get to bed quite a
Mhm.
bit when I can't sleep. Even now, as an adult, like, I had no idea it was a type of meditation, but it's really, it's really, it's a great way to help kids get to sleep. It's also a great way to have kids be aware of their bodies because, like, I, A, as a kid, didn't have a lot of accidents, but B, as an adult, I'm always very conscientious of every part of my body. So, like, when I'm starting to get like a neck ache, I can immediately feel it. I don't feel it after I already have a problem. I feel it if I'm not asleep. Like when I'm
Mhm.
sleeping, this is not the case. But like if I'm awake and I'm sitting in a way that's giving me a problem, and if I stay that way, I'm gonna have a problem.
Mhm.
Like I conscientiously can feel like, oh, that muscle is out of whack, and I can change my position before I now have 3 days of a crick in my neck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think body scan meditation, whether you use it as a form of meditation or not, fucking great way to get to sleep, great way to get kids to sleep, and a great way to pay attention to what's going on in your body.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great way to end the episode on meditation, unless you have
No,
anything
I
else
think
to
so
say.
too. I'm very curious on if you do any of these meditations. Let us know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. And don't forget to like and subscribe. You can find us on Threads, Instagram, and Facebook at Witches Talking Tarot.
You can find us on patreon.com/Witches Talking Tarot if you would like to support the show, like Death by DVD.
Melissa
Victoria,
and Pam.
we appreciate y'all. And you can find us on X at Classiest Witches because we are the classiest witches you know. So thank you for coming to sit with us for a spell. That was a good episode.
That was fun.
I'm Maddie.
I'm Amber. And we're Witches Talking Tarot.
We are the Weird Optimistic.
I get soft like a sailor's snubble. Flip the switch and let the cauldron bubble.
Sam.
Wow.